almost 2 weeks after the murder of SP Angbashim. Tubaba is yet to be apprehended. Now, you should also remember that the River State governor put a bounty, 100 million naira bounty, on the head of Tubaba, but nothing yet. Nothing is yet to be arrested, is yet to be apprehended, and I'm wondering what the reason is. And so, Mr. Charles, welcome on the show.
Thank you very much.
What do you make of the video, first of all? I know you must have watched that video that trended over the weekend. What do you make of that video?
Well, it is actually troubling, but as troubling as it is, for some of us, we are not surprised because we anticipated this stage of our life after the election. But the brandishing of the arms, shows that these boys are not, and the video shows that these boys are not remorseful. They are even showing their minds and doing show of minds and so on. They are not remorseful of what has just happened. And so they are at large and they are at comfort corner from all indication. For them to have that ample time to go through such a video and
even release the video.
Yes, and release the video. It's obviously on their comfort corner. They are very much relaxed.
Do you think the boldness, yet again, the temerity to release that video is as a result of the kind of backing that they have? One, the arms that were brandishing, that were flaunting, not arms, not cheap arms. I'm not a member, I'm not a cheap member as well, but I like to believe that such kind of machine guns, as they say, are very expensive. So what the matter?
You see, these garbage or called group workers people prior to this time.
Okay.
I keep maintaining the fact that these are young men that were heavily armed prior to this time, maybe before the electoral process, and maybe the people that funded them or mobilized them do not have the capacity to demobilize them.
Okay.
After being used or whatever. And the people are now on their high distance because the kind of machines they are and the arms they are carrying is not the kind of arms you say they attack police to take from them. It's a high caliber of arms and assaulted rifles. So these are not arms that is common on the streets. These are arms that were deliberately procured. So you see that there is so much to it. Two sources. One, the politicians across the board must have mobilized or equipped this place. Another one is IOCs. IOCs are also providing funds for them for surveillance. Give them need for pipeline surveillance, protection of oil facilities within their catchment areas, and so on. So much money is being released. That's also.
But if
criminal activity.
Sorry, let me come in now, Charles. If IOCs are releasing money for securing of pipelines, the procurement of these arms, these guns, these machine guns, as I like to call them, would have to pass through customs, would have to pass through the various ports. How then is it possible? And that's my first confusion.
No, I'm thinking gang people will want to make any procurement through Nigeria market. Nigeria is one of the biggest markets for gun runners across Africa and the world as a whole.
Okay.
And our borders are so porous and open that arms can come in freely. If in fact you go to most of the rural areas that are coastal by nature and so on, you will see arms moving or coming very, very freely at nights and so on. So how to get the arms is not a problem, but to raise the funds is a problem. And then if the funders are there, if IOCs is giving them money, huge amount of money to do pipeline surveillance and so on, and they do that and they give them money, these are the tools and weapons, equipment they use in making that, carrying out that assignment given to them. And they also have cost of interest and so on, who told specific particular territory. So they raised a lot of money from these two sources. Politicians before the election, IOCs within the period, and then there are other kidnaps and so on. And bunkering, also another source of generating funds for such arms and so on. So there is so much proliferation of firearms within the community alone. All over the communities across is fully protected with firearms.
And that's the next place I wanted to go to now. Proliferation of firearms. Is that what? I mean, the other day, if you watch that video and you see how well armed and gangs or you wouldn't think that's just one gang. They made these gangs in other part of the state.
So many everywhere. Even in Awuda, there are other gangs. Even in Awuda, there are other gangs. Across the communities and so on that are still armed and loaded like this. And if you look at the arms, those are brand new arms. Most of them are brand new arms, highly expensive and sophisticated arms and so on. These young men are not people that are doing anything. Where do you think they generate such money?
So how do we disarm all of these boys? Because now it looks like we're going back to the early 2000s where we had the proliferation of weapons in the hands of young people who went about doing, one or two violent activities.
We're already on that. We're already on that, and that, if not more than that, because currently, whether deliberately or undeliberately, communities are even engaging armed groups to take care of their community.
Interesting.
Because of, in some cases, the security inability to protect the people there. They resort to self-help. They engage these same armed groups, take care of their communities and so on. So the entire area is protected. Some are even been allowed by federal. They openly have their arms along security members and so on. So it is enough that there is so much high catching of arms proliferation in River State, across the communities and so on.
So let's derail the conversation for a bit. Now you listen to me read. Hello, can you hear me? That's terrible. I can hear you now. So let's derail for a bit. Now you listen while the report that said police people make that claimed that 4 members of the gang have been killed, while 3 others have been arrested, and they said it's 3 days after the murder of SP Angbashim. What do you make of that report? Because over the weekend yet again we saw that video, and the video
misleading.
You think it's misleading?
And misleading, because you remember the commissioner of the police PRO sometimes said they have apprehended 6 members of the gang.
Yeah, something like that.
Killed Bahu, and then they also recover a locally made pistol from them and Charms. That is 6 members of the gang.
Yeah.
Are they talking of the same 6 members propaganda and look at things holistically? The safer and better for the citizenry and even the police command. Because at this point now, beyond this Tubaba and his gang, the Tubaba and his gang and other gangs within their water axis have been disturbing and terrorizing that territory since before election. During the election, you remember during the election they beheaded, they killed somebody, one of the political figures, and other people within the area. They come to a stage where they threaten the community to raise money, and the community could not meet up as directed, and they came to the community and killed people. They do a lot of atrocities within the area, and even there are notorious police officers within that command that is also complicit in most of these actions. Because there have been a lot of notorious police activities within that command.
Charles, that's a big allegation. When you say police officers who are notorious in the area, can you back that up with some evidence or facts?
Yes. You remember 3 weeks ago?
Okay.
3 weeks ago, there was a media publication, even as confirmed by the CP.
Okay.
How police officers from Imo State came to Omoko, that is the same police command, and operate illegal roadblocks. Some Nigerian citizens were victims, and these police officers extorted 6-point-something million from them, as confirmed by the Commissioner of Police on air. And then these police officers, 3 weeks later, police went there to do a mass raid on the police officers within that area. The same police officers that extorted these people 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks before that time, we are still there. 4 members of that gang that extorted these men were also part of the people they arrested, and they are the police custody.
All right.
It shows that command is really notorious. So there should be proper investigation of what actually happened in that area. If there is internal sabotage, if there is any complicit behavior or activities, even the security officers in that area.
I've got to put it now. We've got commercial break coming up in a few seconds. When we come back, we'll continue. Please stay tuned.
For more talk, news.
the security expert via the phone. I'm talking about Charles Nko-Tariah, and we are talking for development. I mean, we're talking the security issues of the state, more particularly the video that was released by the gang that killed SP Angbashim in our East local government. And the gang released a video flaunting their very beautiful, can I use the adjective now, arms, well loaded, like we say in our local parlor. And Commissioner of Police is now saying that 3 of those gang members have been apprehended while have been killed. Welcome back, Charles.
Thank you.
All right, so let's quickly talk now. We've seen the situation in the East now. We've seen video, and you're saying there's a possibility that it's happening in several other local governments in River State. The question then, as I asked before, is how do we disarm these boys? Because if these boys decide to go on a spree, River State will be left in a very devastating state. So how do we disarm these boys? What can the government do to be proactive of security to be able to preempt the acts and activities of these boys and ensure we can stop them and make sure that they don't go about causing insecurity like we've seen recently in the case of late SP Angbashim?
Like I always say, we need to be proactive, like you have said earlier. Government already have an existing law in River State, that encourage citizen participation. They have to take that law, review the law, and enrich it with more resource, engage more resource persons to come up with the best strategy on how best to review that law and come up with a law on security participation across the state and prohibit most of these vigilante arms bearing and so, and put up a proper law to checkmate these vigilantes and whatever you call it, be it something one. As we speak, the agency is signing pipeline surveillance more and more, and they should sign more to the boys. What are they signing the pipeline surveillance for? Is for them to protect the pipeline areas. And what are the tools and materials used? What are the tools? The guns and one of it. So government should come up with law, to create synergy with the community policing of the Federal Police Command. The Police Command have a community policing model. It's not being used.
Okay.
They one time IGP introduced community policing a few years ago, and the federal government put in almost 13 billion, deployed almost the constabularies to all the police stations, the police divisions, and so on. These constabularies work in the government security platforms in community to create a preemptive approach that is with a much increased domestic surveillance, real-time intelligence, right. That will be able to expose most of these operations and armories. They don't sit with the arms, they don't sit with the arms. So that means they have armories, they have their movement, they have their activities, they buy food, they communicate, interact with the communities and so on. So if the communities are involved in security, when we say involved, an institutionalized involvement as designed by the law, if the government is serious to fight it. It is not a matter of bounty and so on. Bounty is good and so on, but these funds can be used to come up with a proactive platforms that will be able to create a security approach that is beyond sectional or fraternal sentiments. So there should be holistic approach. The city should be able to create venues to engage the academics in the security, in fight insecurity and crime within the bring resource people that will upon comments and look at the better approach that can encourage security and more arms. Right. There is so much proliferation of firearms. They need to identify their armories. They need to demobilize them right from the root. And the idea of these killing gang members, shooters, and so on, what also the police do no longer arrest, interrogate, get quick and question people, reveal certain information that will be more useful for lasting solution. So the idea of maybe if they are looking for two Baba, tomorrow we hear they killed two Baba. They are looking for such a person to kill. And for us, it's not too comfortable. Not too comfortable. It's right. To be able to speak. Be able to reveal certain things. Tell us.
Mr. Nko-Tariah, talking about revision of sponsors and how to go about the activities and that. First of, according to their report, why have they not interrogated? What do you think could be the challenge in terms of generating intelligence?
You will be amazed to listen for that they're working with the revision of these people. And also, there is justice system to punish them. When you arrest them, if it is maybe casual lot of fire, and so on. But they need to be interrogated.
Right.
They need to give us more information on arms supply. How do they get these arms? How does it come in with dealers? Should be some fundamental questions that will help more police policies and plans, in fight insecurity. Now, the police should do more of academics.
Can I ask you one question? Yeah, Foster. Can I ask you one question? What is the implication? I think SP Bako's kill was on the 8th or 7th September. Now I cannot remember the date, but I think the first week of September was when he was killed. And up until now, today is the 19th of September. Almost 2 weeks later, the perpetrators are yet to be apprehended. What do you think are the implications of such in terms of the other gangs watching Baba's gang go away so far, get away with the inner crime that they have committed?
It's a smell of danger and more to do within the communities, and it's really frightening and scary. It also exposes the surveillance banks and parties that the state government donated to the police not doing much. Because if there is proper surveillance, technology-based surveillance, is level 100 kilometers. And so it's about 5,000% feet is what we use and water river. So in a small landmass like that, in a landmass like that, the proper surveillance, technology-based surveillance should be able to show this instead of videos and just relax. So it's really disturbing that the police are many, don't know that they've not done anything. It's the first time they arrested 6 persons connected to the killing of the 6 members of the gang with a locally made pistol. So you see that there is so much contrast with what the video that came out. There was nobody there with that kind of locally made.
They also
automatic guns and so on. You see that there is a clash of nations.
Okay, now let's listen to the Commissioner of Police now. Just take a listen, please.
Dokpara, aka Tubaba, who led his notorious gang to brutally murder SP Angbashim, were in their hideout in Mude Forest. Following information, a combined team of command tactical operates area commander stormed the forest. The effort to arrest notorious hoodlums and possibly recover the corpse of the late officer immediately engaged operatives on fierce guns. The 4 notorious suspected criminals who sustained serious injuries were rushed to PTH for medical attention, but were confirmed dead by the doctor on duty.
So you heard him for yourself now, yeah?
So with one of their arms, the dead ones, one of their arms, normally if you can tell us that they recovered the locally made pistols, then and shams. But in this case now, on a crossfire, the young men were killed. What of their arms that they were using to engage the crossfire with them? So there are a lot of more information from the police command and so on. But I think that the police should do more.
All right.
They should do more of intelligence and not more of this reactive policing. It should be more proactive.
All right.
They should do more of reducing these chances and opportunity for crime and criminality in the land to reduce the rate of casualty, because there's so much increase in casualty on both parties, on all the parties, both civilians and so on. And it's really troubling. So the CP should look out for more opportunities, reduce chances of criminality and crime for these group members or gang people across the country, across the state, and focus on mopping up these harms.
All right.
The mopping up these harms is not calling people for amnesty. It's creating higher intelligence and surveillance.
Now, quickly.
Possibly invade where necessary.
I've got to go now because my time is fast spent. I've just been told that I've got to make way for commercial. But quickly, in 60 seconds, someone just sent in a message and I glanced through it, and the person is saying, "What about the Air Force? I mean, we could bomb illegal refining areas. Why can't we use the Air Force to get these guys?" Do you agree?
As you collaborate with all the other sister security agencies, in going out for these criminals and get them down, for safety and peace within the area. And finally, the government of the state should revisit the law number 8 of 2018. The law number 8 of 2018 provides for citizen participation in security of life and property in the state, and make it active and potent.
I've got to go now. Thank you very much, Charles Nko-Tariah, security expert here in River State. Thank you very much for your expertise and your time.
Thank you.
All right. That's the much that we can take on the show for now. We will continue the open season, which is after the major news at 6. For now, I've got to say goodbye. For now, I'll be right back after the major news at 6. Do stay tuned.
You are tuned in to 92.3 Nigeria Info.